Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Church. I am Nicole, and I am here with Karen. I'm in Georgia, where it's 25 degrees outside, so I have a fire going in the fireplace behind me. And Karen is in sunny Florida, where I'm sure it's a lot warmer than it is here. So we just welcome you to join us in this time of stretching and quiet and prayer. I'm going to share with you a short devotional, and I'm going to be reading from scripture. And you don't have to be a Christian to be a part of this. We invite everyone to join us, and you just need an open heart. Okay. God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give away, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar, and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see the works of the Lord, the desolations he has brought on earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. I just love this reminder that he is our refuge, even in times of trouble. He's not a temporary retreat. He is our eternal refuge. He provides strength for us in any circumstances. So I invite you to take time each day and be still and know him. If you are watching with us online, the great thing about this is that you can watch this any time of day. Well, you can watch it tomorrow. You can do this with us even this weekend or next week. But for those of you that are watching with us right now, if you could show us some likes and some loves, and those of you that are with Karen, we want to hear from you. Yay! All right. So now I am going to turn it over to Karen.
Well, thank you, Nicole. Thank you for being here. Michael is busy today, so we always welcome anyone that can come and give us a beautiful devotion as you did today. So thank you so much. Welcome to yoga. We're going to start with the heart of yoga, which is breath. So I encourage you to sit in the most comfortable position you can. Close your eyes and just breathe, being aware of your breath, being aware of your inhale and your exhale. So let us just breathe with our eyes closed. Maybe make your inhale a little bit longer and your exhale even longer than your inhale. And as you breathe, let us clear our mind of any anxiety, any negativity, anything that's taking up space that keeps us from inviting the Spirit to come and tell us maybe an intention that we can focus on today. As a Christian, I try to focus on one of the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, hope, peace, or maybe even something different like grace or forgiveness. So open up your mind, open up that space, and invite a good intention that you can take through your practice today. And if you're in a safe place for breathing and inhaling and exhaling, change your breath pattern to a very long, deep inhale in through the nose, followed by an exhale through the mouth, a long exhale. Exhaling all the old air out of your body. Continue inhaling in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, renewing the old air for new air. And let us return to normal breath in through the nose and out through the nose as we open our eyes and begin our practice. Take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float the hands up, and exhale, hands over, heart center, and namaste. Inhale to float the hands up, big stretch here. Reach your arms out long, fingertips slowly float down to your mat. Inhale up. Exhale, maybe nod your chin. Inhale, maybe gaze up. Exhale, reach out long. Inhale and exhale. And last big stretch. Inhale, reach your arms out as long as you can. Slowly float your fingertips down to your mat. As we go into some side stretches, sitting tall, lift your left palm up, reach up for strength and over for flexibility. We're going to alternate going side to side, but I encourage you to go at your own pace and let your breath guide your movement through your whole practice today. So know that this is your practice, and you can move as slowly or as quickly as your body wants to. Just try to let your breath guide your movement. And know that the slower you move a joint, which we will move many joints in our body today, the more tension you will release. One more big side stretch, inhale. And exhale, go on and sit as tall as you can. Just rest your hands by your side. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears as we go into some shoulder shrugs with breath. Inhale to shrug up, and exhale to shrug down. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. On the next shrug up, go on and circle your shoulders around to the back. Big, slow shoulder rolls to the back. Lifting your heart, lifting your gaze, and moving slowly with breath. One more shoulder roll as we leave our shoulders down away from our ears and grow as tall as we can through the crown of our head, pulling our belly into our spine as we go into some neck and spine stretches. Drop your chin to your chest for a back of the neck stretch. Let your head be heavy here while your spine is long. And breathe. And with your chin on your chest, let's go on and let our spine round. Keeping your eyes closed. Let your rib cage cave in. Let your shoulders round forward. Relax your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders, letting your head get heavier and heavier. Feeling the space open up between each vertebra of your spine. And breathe. Inhale, and on this exhale, slowly roll your chin up to your left shoulder. And when you get there, sit as tall as you can for our half neck circles and slow motion. Inhale to drop the chin to the chest, once again, rounding the spine. On your exhale, come up to your right shoulder and grow tall through the spine. And again, inhale, dropping the chin, rounding the spine. Exhale, coming up to the left shoulder and growing tall. And 2 more half neck circles. Inhale. And exhale. And last one, inhale. Exhale, sit as tall as you can. Bring your gaze back to the center as we take our feet out in front of us, stretching our legs out long. It's okay to bend your knees if you need to. Maybe you even have a prop, a towel or a block under your knees. Point your toes up to the ceiling. Use your fingertips to grow tall. And you're in staff pose. So you can stay here and enjoy this stretch and breathe. Or join me for a progression, floating your fingertips up towards the ceiling, pulling your belly into your spine, and then hinging 2 or 3 inches and pausing there. Reaching your fingertips up towards the ceiling and breathing. Now maybe you stay here, or you can join me for a forward fold, which is contraindicated if you're over 60. So listen to your spine, listen to your body, and only do what feels good for you. As I continue, I will fold, bringing my nose to my knees. Maybe you bend your knees, that's okay. If your knees are bent, maybe with each exhale, you just try to straighten them a little bit and breathe. On the next breath, slowly round your spine up to tall spine, articulating the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the other as you slowly come up to tall spine once again. Let's pull that left knee in. We're going to use the knee to get nice and tall as we go into half of the Lord Fishes. You're going to float that left arm up and go on and drop your left elbow to the inside of your right knee and then rotate around to your right. Now, as you rotate, lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. On the next breath, come back to the center. As you float the left hand up, go on and bring it down, and then float your right hand up. Drop your right elbow to the outside of that left knee, and now slowly rotate, again, lifting your heart and lifting your gaze. On the next breath, slowly come back around to the center. We're just going to lift up that left foot and bring that left ankle on top of the right knee for a nice hamstring stretch. So for most men, this is where you probably stay because men are built differently than women. Really, we're all built so differently and we move differently. So only move in ways that feel good for your body. If you want to go a little bit deeper with a long spine, go on and lean back. Sliding your right heel in and then hinging forward, lifting your heart as you hinge forward, cradling your knee, maybe you pull it into your chest, or maybe you just rock it side to side. Maybe you do your whole lower leg. It just depends on what feels good for your body. And be gentle here. This should feel good. So the taller you sit here, the more stretch and the deeper your stretch will go. On the next breath, we're just going to straighten out that right leg. We're going to go into half cow face. So we're going to take that left heel and bring it towards the right hip. Maybe you're here, maybe you can keep going. Just go as far as it feels good and then sit tall. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can take your other heel back so that both knees are stacked, and then sit tall. Maybe you stay here, maybe you still want to go a little bit deeper. Inhale to float the hands up into prayer hands, and then just drop your prayer hands behind your head to support your head as you lift your gaze. And breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, we'll slowly release, reaching the hands back up, floating the hands behind our hips, leaning back, straighten your legs, but keep them crossed. So now left leg is over the right leg. As we do a staff pose, cross leg with a twist. Float your arms out in front of your shoulders. Sit tall, cross your arms, flip your hands, drop your hands, tuck your chin and look at your belly, and then slowly slide your hands towards your ankles, only as far as it feels good for your body. And let us breathe 3 breaths here. On the next breath, slowly round the spine up, articulating the spine, stacking one vertebra at a time all the way up. Uncross your legs. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees away from each other. Seated butterfly. So maybe you have back issues, you keep your feet away. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, pull them in. Maybe even wiggle to get closer. And grab hold either to your knees, your shins, or your ankles. Relax your shoulders, sit tall, and push your knees away from each other. If you want to go a little bit deeper, float your elbows over your inner knees, gently press them, nod your chin, and let your nose fall towards your feet. Be soft and gentle here, listening to your body. If you are pressing your knees down, you'll feel an opening up of the lower back. On the next breath, slowly round the spine up to tall spine, lifting your chin last. That's going to take that left leg out in front. Pick that right knee up for spinal rotation here. First, we start with the modified half of the Lord Fishes, floating float the left arm up and then just drop it to the inside of your knee as you rotate around to your right. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. On the next breath, come on all the way back up. Going to float your hand up, and I was actually meant to do this arm. So reach your right arm up and take it to the inside of your right leg and rotate around to your right. Inhale and exhale. And then slowly come back around to the center. As you pick up your right ankle, put it on top of your left knee for a little hamstring stretch. And again, you can stay here, but if you want to go a little bit deeper, lean back with a long spine as you slide that left heel in, lifting your heart as you hinge forward, cradling the knee or maybe the lower leg, and gently rocking side to side. Continue to try to sit as tall as you can, pressing your heart towards your lifted leg as you gently rock side to side. And then we're just going to go on and straighten out that left leg as we straighten the right leg right on top for our cross leg staff pose. Sit nice and tall. Float your arms out in front of your shoulders. Reach long arms. Cross your arms, flip your hands, drop your hands. Nod your chin, look at your belly, and slowly slide your hands toward your feet. And breathe. On the next breath, slowly come back up to tall spine. Uncross your legs. We're going to transition to our hands and knees for a kneeling cat and cow. So bring your hands to the front of your mat and bring your knees behind your hands. Separate your hands, your knees, and your feet about shoulder width apart. Nod your chin, look at your belly, and round your back up like Halloween cat. Check your feet that you can't see them because they're in alignment with your knees. Pull your belly into your spine and lift that space between your shoulder blades. And this is your kneeling cat pose. As we move into cow pose, soften your wrists, your elbows, and your shoulders. As your belly falls towards the earth, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Inhale, filling the lungs up with air. On the exhale, nod your chin and slowly round back up to kneeling cat pose. Continue rounding and lifting. lifting the heart in your cow pose and gazing to your belly and your cat pose. Imagine your spine is like a wave and you're just rolling through one vertebra at a time. Inhale and exhale. One more set. Inhale. Exhale. Hold that cat pose as we go into some big hip circles. Letting your hips sway out to the right, over the right heel, over the left heel, to the left, and back to the center. Slower and bigger is better. Switch directions. Inhale, going to the left, to the right, and back up to the center. Let's do a couple of more of these big hip circles in slow motion, breathing with each circle, inhaling and exhaling. Two more hip circles, inhale and exhale. And one more, inhale and exhale. We're going to drop into a child's pose extended. So uncurl your toes, let your buttocks fall towards your heels, and extend your hands away from your shoulders. Drop your elbows and your forehead to the mat, and breathe 3 breaths in child's pose. On the next breath, come back to hands and knees. Before we continue, we're going to go into a downward dog, but downward dog is not for everyone. So whenever I do downward dog, you can do child's pose instead for a modification. So listen to your body. If you're going to do downward dog with me, curl your toes under. You're going to look at your belly as you lift your knees and your sits bones as high as you can. So you're pressing your chest towards your legs. You're pressing the earth away with the heels of your hands and the balls of your feet. Or maybe you're just in child's pose. Remember, this is your practice, so move what feels good for you. In downward dog, we pedal, dropping the left heel, bending the right knee, then dropping the right heel, bending the left knee, maybe a little faster, working with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Now let us press both heels down towards the mat for a little more deeper stretch as you press your sits bones up a little bit higher. And then we're going to drop back down to our knees and back into an extended child's pose. So I'm going to go through our first vinyasa and a modified vinyasa from child's pose. The next one will be from downward dog, but let us first do the child's pose. So from child's pose, come up to kneeling and then come into a bent knee plank, pressing your hips and your chest forward. You're in a bent knee plank, right? And from here, we'll lower our entire body down to the mat. Fingertips line up with the shoulders, elbows press in. Now, before you go into cobra pose, know that your lower disc in your back will compress. So that's important if you have any back injury or pain. You would only want to lift up an inch or 2. So go on and lift up what feels good for your spine as high as it feels good for your body. And breathe and cobra pose. On the next breath, push back into child's pose, where maybe you stay or you join me for downward dog. In downward dog, we pedal, left heel, right, left, right. Both heels press down. And then from child's pose or downward dog, go into your plank. Press forward. Knees can be up or down, whichever feels good for your body. If your knees are up, be sure that your hips are not sagging. So we all have different bodies, so we all look differently, and that's okay. So hold your plank and breathe, pulling your belly into your spine. And we're going to go into another cobra pose. So slowly lower your whole body down, uncurl the toes, lift the heart, lift the chin, lift only as high as it feels good for your body. Inhale. Exhale back into child's pose. Maybe you stay there, maybe you press back into downward dog with me and pedal. Left heel, right, left, right, both heels. Press down, come up on the balls of the feet to drop into your plank. Now, knees can be up or down. So you can go back to Cobra or join me for a progression, Chaturanga. In Chaturanga, we squeeze our elbows in right under our rib cage and just hover your body over your mat. And maybe you only hold it for a second or two. Maybe you hold it the whole time. Or maybe you drop back down into your Cobra and breathe. On the next breath, press back into your child's pose. Or maybe you come into downward dog with me. Pedaling, left heel, right, left, right. Both heels press down. Both heels come up. Drop into your plank, knees up or knees down. And then we're going to go into up dog. Or maybe you go back into Cobra. Cobra is a modification. Up dog, you uncurl your toes. Slowly lower your hips towards the mat. Lift your heart, lift your gaze, and breathe. And then drop back into your child's pose. We're all going to stay in child's pose here, but maybe into a traditional child's pose. So separate your knees, big toes are touching. Drop your forehead to the mat. Take your hands back by your ankles, palms up. And just breathe here. Balasana. On the next breath, come back to your hands and knees. We're going to take our right foot forward. We're coming up to standing. And you're going to take your hands on top of your thigh. Now, a lot of people kind of tuck their foot under and then they put all the pressure on their knee. So be sure that your toes are out in front of your knees. Curl your back toes under. Use the ball of your back foot to press up into standing. Excellent. And then go in and take the long part of your mat. Separate your feet nice and wide. Float your hands up. Inhale. Now we're going to take our elbows into our waist, do a little squat. These are called moonflowers. Maybe you turn your toes out slightly unless you have knee injuries. I'll do a modified one to start. So it's inhale and exhale. These are all about your breath. Inhale and exhale. Maybe you go deeper, or maybe you stay just a small modified moonflower. It's your moonflower. Inhale and exhale. This should feel freeing. You're just letting go of all the troubles, all the anxiety, any negativity, and just pulling in positive energy. Now we can move into sunflowers, just making a sunflower with your hand. Maybe you just do a little sunflower, or maybe you do a really big one. And move big and soft and smooth, letting your breath just guide your movement. Two more big sunflowers. And one more. Inhale. Exhale, bring your arms out to a T. If your toes are turned out, turn your heels out so your feet are parallel. Palms are down. A good morning pose, hinge halfway over. Hips go to the back, crown of the head growing forward, and long spine, long arms, long legs. You can stay here or join me for revolving triangle. Dropping your left fingers or hand under your heart, and floating your right hand and gaze up to the ceiling. And then coming back into your good morning pose, arms back into a T, only to drop your right fingers or hand under your heart. Float your left hand and gaze up to the ceiling. And then back into your good morning pose, only to hinge back up to standing straddle split. We're going to move into our warriors, turning your right foot out to the side and bending your right knee. And then rotating your upper body and your gaze to the right. Warrior two. We're going to move right into peaceful warrior, dropping our back hand, flipping our front palm up, beginning to reach up towards the ceiling, or maybe you go a little bit higher, maybe a little bit deeper. And here, this is where we think of that intention, when our eyes were closed and we were clearing our mind. Maybe it's love or grace. Whatever your intention is, this is where our mind, our body, and our spirit connect. On the next breath, come back into warrior two with long arms and reset. As we move into side angle, you're going to drop that right elbow to that right thigh. Float your back hand up and gaze down to your right big toe to protect your neck. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can slide the right hand down to the inside of the ankle. Maybe you even gaze up to your top hand. Or not. And then come on back up into warrior two with long arms where you reset. As we move into triangle pose, straighten out that right knee, hinge your upper body to the right, dropping your hand either to your thigh or your shin. And then again, gazing down to your right big toe, floating that back hand up and breathing. From here, we're going to windmill that top hand down, bending our right knee, turning our left foot forward into a deep runner's lunge. And breathe. Now you can stay here or join me for a progression. Be careful, you can get thrown off balance here. You can float your hands up into crescent lunge. And then warrior one, you return your toe out. And then open your arms to warrior two. Good job. And then we're going to turn that right foot forward, come back to the center. As we move into our warrior series on the other side, turning your left foot out to the side and bending your left knee. And then rotate your upper body and your gaze to the left, looking down your left hand. And then peaceful warrior, dropping the back hand, flipping the left arm up towards the ceiling, a little or a lot, feeling the stretch through the whole left side of your body, especially your midsection. You can actually use your breath here to stabilize. If you feel like you're off balance a little or you're shaking, just breathe deep. Coming back to warrior two with long arms to reset. As we move into side angle, dropping that left elbow to the left knee or thigh, floating the back hand up. Maybe you want more extended side angle, extending your hand down to your mat. Maybe gazing up or not. And breathe. And then slowly coming back into warrior two to reset. As we go into triangle, straighten out that left knee. Hinge your upper body to the left, dropping your left hand either to your thigh or your shin. And then floating your back hand up and breathing. We're going to windmill that top hand down as we bend that left knee, turning our right foot towards the left into a deep runner's lunge. Now, if you had trouble doing your crescent lunge on the other side, you can always bring your hands on your thigh and then slowly lift your heart. And then reach your hands up. Crescent lunge. Be careful. And then warrior one, just turn your back foot out. And then go back into warrior two. And then turn the left foot forward, your back into standing straddle split. Inhale to float the hands up. Exhale, hands on the heart center. Take the heels in, big toes in, heels, toes, hold. Now, for those of you that like to do a deep runner squat, you can either go here just a little bit or all the way down, but in between isn't so good for the knees. So it's one or the other. It's your body, listen to it. This is a great hip opener, so if you're someone that plays a lot of golf, or you're a runner, whatever you do, a lot of us have really tight hips. This will open them up. Drop your hands down. If you're all the way down there, tuck your chin, swing your heels out and roll up to standing, slowly articulating the spine once again. Inhale to float the hands up and bring your hands over heart center. Bring your feet together. Let's move into mountain pose. Drop your arms, palms are forward. Grow tall through the crown of the head. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes and just breathe. So here in mountain pose, it seems so simple, but it's really a lot that's going on here. So you're grounding to the earth. Your feet are about 6 bones width apart. You're pressing all 4 corners of the soles of your feet into your mat or into the floor. As you become more grounded, we've taken away one of our senses, our eyesight, so that our brain can remember this connection to the earth. Especially for those of us that are over 61 and for people over the age of 60 have a major fall that changes the quality of their life. So we can prevent that by working on our balance, by remembering that brain to the floor connection, pressing all 4 corners of the soles of your feet into the floor. Growing tall like a mountain, being sturdy, thinking of your intention if you have one, and breathing. On the next breath, let's open our eyes, float our hands up to upward salute, only to drop our hands over our heart center. Tree pose, another balance pose. So you can stay on your mat for a little more challenge, a little more realistic, like our real world. It's not that even out there on the sidewalks. Or maybe you step off your mat, because it's a little bit easier to hold your pose. We'll do it progression style, so you'll lift up your left heel. Maybe you keep your big toe down, that's okay. Stand tall, use your breath. Maybe you float your foot up a little or a lot. And hold your tree pose for 5 breaths. Just no falling trees, please. I like to find a spot on the wall that's not moving, something that's not moving, and just focus on it. Focus on your intention. Maybe it's a prayer here. Breathe. Inhale. On the exhale, just release. Before we do tree pose on the other side, let's do a chair pose. So we're going to float our arms up into your biceps or by your ears. You can even open your fingers and feel the energy flowing out of your arms through your fingertips. And then pretend there's a chair behind you and sit back in that chair. Pull your belly into your spine. Maybe you prefer the bar stool, that's okay. If you want a little bit more, you can actually float your heels up and balance on the balls of your feet. Be sure you can look down and always see your toenails to protect your knees. And breathe 3 breaths in chair pose. Reach high. Keep your gaze and your heart lifted. Keep your belly pulled into your spine, which engages your core. On the next breath, drop the heels if they're up. Inhale, float the hands all the way around back into hands are over heart center. So on tree pose on the other side, I like to encourage you to move your arms somewhere else. So it's your tree pose. Maybe you want to be a tall tree, lots of branches, maybe wiggling in the wind, maybe a fat bush. Wherever you want your arms, bring them to that spot. Lifting your right heel. Maybe you lift your toe off. Maybe it's just a little bit off the floor. Maybe you pick your foot up and put it on the inside of your thigh. Hold your tree pose for 5 breaths. It always gets really windy when we do the other side. That's okay. You can actually let your breath stabilize you. Longer, deeper breath. And release. Just do a few shoulder rolls to the back and relax. Come to the front of your mat. We're going to do some swan dives, my favorite. This is all about your body, your energy, and your breath. It all connects here in a swan dive. Hands over the heart center. Your knees stay soft through the whole dive. Inhale to float the hands up. And as you dive like a swan, your hips go to the back, your hands come in front of your knees, you flip your palms forward, or maybe you go down to your ankles. Here, you bend your knees a little bit more as though you have the heaviest load. Maybe it's a load of love, of grace, of forgiveness. Bring it up from above and into your heart center. Let's do a few more of those. Inhale, exhale, darling. Inhale, reverse swan, coming all the way up from the heavens and into your heart center. And again, inhale and exhale. In and exhale. On this next one, we're going to stay in standing forward fold. So inhale, dive down, keep your fingertips in front of your toes, nod your chin, look at your belly, and then as you flatten your hands, bend your knees. And then as you lift the heels of your hands up, straighten your legs, look at your belly. So it's half fold as you drop your hands down, full fold as you lift the heels of the hands up. And one more with breath. Inhale, half fold. Exhale, full forward fold. Going in step back so you come onto your knee and then the other knee. As we transition back to our buttocks, you can cross your ankles and roll back or just swish your feet around, whatever is more comfortable for you. Uncross your ankles. Pull your knees, your heels as close as you can. Use your hands behind your knees to grow tall. A little posture stretch, really more strength. You're going to feel those long back extensors tighten up. Those are your posture muscles. Pull your belly into your spine. Continue to grow tall and lengthen and strengthen your posture as we go into some ankle mobility, lifting the balls of the feet up and then pressing down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, keep your feet flat. Hold on to your legs and roll back past your tailbone until your arms are straight. You get to hold on to your legs here. Look at your belly, pull it in. It's important to engage your core here. Keep your buttocks where they are. Drop your shoulders, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Boat pose. Maybe one leg comes into boat pose, maybe both. Maybe you put your hands down because you feel like you're going to fall. That's okay. Maybe you want more, you reach your arms up. Or maybe even more, you can straighten your legs. It's your boat. Breathe in your boat pose. On the next breath, hands come back behind the knees, hinge forward. Grow tall once again. Only to roll past your tailbone, rounding the spine, stretching the spine. We're going to transition onto our backs from here just by lifting up our feet. But can you roll down one vertebra at a time, slowly? If you need support for your neck, you can roll your mat up and make a little pillow. Bear hug your knees and gently press them into your chest as you rock them side to side. Close your eyes here. Relax your feet, relax your legs, and just rock them side to side. And then go on and pull your knees a little closer towards the center of your chest. Bring your hands on top of your knees and pull your knees away from each other, out to the sides, and then out around and down and back together. So knee circles away from each other. Very slow. Relaxed feet. Feet are just dangling. Now, if your hands are on your shins, you probably have a pretty small circle. See how much smaller my circle is when my hands are on my shins? If you can slide your fingertips on top of your knees, you can get a bigger circle. So slower is better here. We're releasing synovial fluid in the hip joints, and that helps to loosen up the lower back as well. Let's switch the direction of our circles. If you're feeling anything that's not good in your lower back, just try to press your lower back into the mat and pull your belly into your spine, and that will engage your core and help keep your lower back a little bit more protected. On the next circle, go ahead and pull your left knee to your left shoulder and right knee to your right shoulder. This is called Happy Baby or Modified Happy Baby. You can stay here or join me for a full Happy Baby, bringing your big toes over your knees only to grab hold of those big toes. And a full Happy Baby. And then maybe you rock, or maybe you just hold your Happy Baby and breathe. And Happy Baby, I encourage you to push your tailbone down towards your mat. As we release our Happy Baby, bring your legs up the wall. Bring in your big toes up towards the ceiling. You can hold your legs if you need to support them, or drop your hands down to your mat. The idea here is that your legs are weightless as your body is grounded. Maybe you begin to do some very slow ankle circles with your left foot, and then maybe your right foot. And if you are doing those ankle circles, switch directions and try to slow down the movement. Again, the slower you move a joint, the more tension you release. And let us float our feet back down to the mat with our knees bent. Let your feet be about shoulder width apart. Slide your arms out to a T. Let both knees fall towards the floor on the right as you gaze to the left and breathe. Let your top knee be heavier than your bottom knee. Float your knees back up to the center along with your gaze as your knees float towards the floor on the other side and you gaze in the opposite direction. And once again, letting your top knee be heavier than your bottom knee. And breathe. On the next breath, bring your knees back up to the center along with your gaze. As we move into supine butterfly, let the soles of the feet come together as the knees fall away from each other towards the floor. And supine butterfly, I encourage you to push your lower back into the mat and your belly into the spine to engage your core. You can stay here in supine butterfly for our final relaxation, Savasana, or you can straighten your legs, bringing your left heel to the left corner of your mat and the right heel to the right corner. As you close your eyes and just relax, take this time to just be in the moment, to be still, and just breathe in total relaxation, as this is the most important part of your practice, because the more you can relax, the more energy that will flow through your body. So I encourage you to begin that process of relaxing the mind, the body, and the spirit here. Relax your toes, the balls of your feet, the arches of your feet, your heels and your calves, even the backs of your knees, your thighs and your buttocks. your back, your lower back, your middle back, your upper back with your shoulder blades melting into your mats. Relaxing your shoulders and your arms, the insides of your elbows, insides of your wrist, even the palms of your hands and your fingers and your thumbs. Relax your hip bones and your pelvis, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your neck, your scalp, and all the muscles in your face. We hold so much tension in our face. Relax your face. Relax your forehead and your eyebrows, your eyelids, your cheekbones and your nose, your chin, your ears, your earlobes, even your teeth. Unclench them, let them part. Let your tongue fall away from your teeth. Relax your lips and just be. Continue to breathe, being aware of your breath, maybe making your inhale longer and your exhale longer than your inhale. Maybe breathing in through your nose, a long, deep inhale, so deep your tummy rises high, pausing, and then exhaling all the old air out of your body, renewing the old air for new air. And in this relaxed state, let us open our hearts. Let our hearts be filled with love. Love of yourself, love of others, maybe even love of the unlovable. May your hearts be filled with grace, grace in all circumstances, and gratitude. Let us be so thankful that we could even come here today and practice a yoga practice. Let us be grateful for all the blessings that we have. We have so many. And then may your hearts be filled with peace today. It all starts in our own hearts. Let us share the peace we have with those around us. And then if you could slowly make your way back up to a seated position as we come to a time where we can pray for each other. We'll come back to a seated position the way we began our practice today. Sitting in a comfortable position, sitting tall. Let us close our eyes and pray for each other. You can yell out a prayer request, or if you're online, just type it out. We have a prayer team that will pray for your prayer requests throughout the week. So let us pray for each other.
Roseanne and Steve.
Thank you. Valerie reading.
Leonel.
Megan and Oliver. I lift up our country, our state, our community. I lift up a prayer for peace.
Pray for calmness.
Thank you.
The health of the people of the United States of America.
Pam.
Let us open our eyes, sit tall, take your arms out long with your palms up. Inhale to float your hands up. Exhale, hands over, heart center. I hope you feel renewed and restored after your practice today. Namaste, and Nicole will finish our practice today with the Lord's.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Can everybody out there give Karen a round of applause? Everyone out there on social media, let's give her a round of applause with our likes and our loves. Okay. Let us read the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Karen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.